Biker TV. And as always, I'd like to thank you all for tuning in from wherever it is in the world that you happen to be. All right, let's get after it. Sergeant at Arms is one of the most important officers in the MC. His power is limitless when it comes to protecting the MC, securing the MC, and taking care of the members within the MC. If you have a strong sergeant at arms, you will have a strong MC. And if you have a weak-minded sergeant at arms or a corrupt sergeant at arms, he can destroy the entire MC just because of his weak-mindedness or corruption. You see, all institutions, be they motorcycle clubs or anything else, they need security. They need to know, people in these clubs, they need to know that they're okay. They need to know that they're safe. They need to know that rules are consistently enforced. There needs to be consistency within the MC. And any kind of organization works the same way. Consistency. We know that things are the same for everyone and things are fair. This is what keeps any organization running, but especially the MC. And so this is one of the biggest reasons that this job is so important. I'm going to give you two examples of two national sergeant at arms that allowed themselves to be corrupted and go off the rails. As a result, their MCs suffered greatly. And in fact, so greatly that they'll never be the same again. And this is kind of sad, but it is what it is. I tell you these things to educate you. I tell you these things so that you don't have to go through the same things that others have gone through, like myself. And I tell you these things in my effort to help the MC world be better, gleaning from my 36 years of experience that I spent as a full patch brother and former national president of the mighty Black Sabbath Motorcycle Club Nation. Started in 1972 in San Diego, California, reaching out across the United States of America with chapters from coast to coast. At least, that's what it used to be. There was a corrupt sergeant at arms in our organization recently who went by the name or goes by the name of Offset. One of the things that he did, he started out as a pretty good kid. I considered him a close brother. Very one of those kind of people that's easily swayed, impressionable. So I always tried to make a good impression on him. You see, what happened in his case was he started to let his feelings in when he made this national sergeant at arms position. Really way sooner than it should have happened. He had no experience. But the national president, a guy by the name of Ride or Die, decided that he wanted stoolies around him. And he felt like he could turn this guy into a stoolie. Sergeant at arms, I've seen a lot of them do this. In some clubs, the sergeant at arms is even appointed by the president. So the sergeant at arms feels beholding to the president. He feels like some kind of way he owes this president more of an allegiance than he owes the club. It's a sorry situation when that happens, because a lot of presidents will do that. They will put a guy in charge to bolster them, their agendas and their bullshit. You have to think hard if you're a sergeant at arms about what do I want to be? What do I want my legacy to be? What do I want to be known for when this is all over? Do I want to be known as the guy who was the bullshit ass puppet, the monkey on a chain for some national president or president that never had the MC's best interest at heart and used me to further an agenda that destroyed the club? Is that what I want to be known as? Or do I want to be known as a no bullshit mother effer who would tell anybody the right way to go, including the president, national president, or anyone that stood in my way? And if I had to lose my position to be that guy, would I be willing to do it? This is what you've got to ask yourself. What legacy do I want to leave? And so, in this one guy's instance, the legacy this offset dude decided to leave, the legacy he decided to leave was one who had a corrupt puppet master and therefore made him corrupt. More specifically speaking, not only did he deny me a trial when the club decided, or when the national president decided, that he was going to throw me out of the club on fake charges, but I at least could have gone to a trial and fought those charges and kicked those dudes' asses. But it came down to the national sergeant at arms. But it wasn't just me, because once you become corrupt, you have to stay corrupt. And that's the ugly thing about corruption. My mother used to say, I hate a liar. And I used to say, why, Mom? And she said, because if you'll lie, you'll steal. And if you'll steal, you'll cheat. And if you cheat, you'll kill. You'll do anything it takes to preserve that lie. And that's what's so sad about it. Because not only did this national sergeant at arms, named Offset, out of the Colorado Springs chapter, not only did he prevent me from getting a fair trial, but he prevented so many other brothers from getting a fair trial. Brothers that fought, bled, lived, rode, and died Black Sabbath. And as a result of his tomfoolery and buffoonery, the Black Sabbath Motorcycle Club no longer exists on the East Coast. The national president, in fact, himself, can no longer even ride his motorcycle in the state of Georgia, as the one percenters have decreed if they see him in a cut, he's got problems. He's got big problems. So what he does is he rides around with no cut on, gets someplace, puts his cut on, then leaves the place and takes his cut off. Here, a national president of a once revered national MC. It's crazy that what they thought they were doing, getting over on brothers and causing brothers to have to leave the club and be put out disgracefully and shamefully, not giving them a trial, not giving them any kind of a reprieve, making up rules as they went, not giving these folks their appeals. They thought they were setting up the club so that they could lead it forever. What they didn't understand is brothers will sometimes vote with their feet. What does voting with your feet mean? Voting with your feet means I'm out of here. I'm taking a walk, no longer to ever be associated with this MC ever again. See, when you make it impossible and difficult for people to access their bylaws, they'll go find someplace else to be. And that's when it gets sad. People who would wear these patches signifying Black Sabbath forever, forever Black Sabbath, these people found themselves no longer interested in being in the MC. And I make this point because it's important for you to realize you're not going to ride roughshod over grown men. Eventually, grown men will tell you to take a effing hike, and that's what can happen. And it does. I also point out another story we covered about a motorcycle club called the Ugly Man Cossacks and the Cossacks One Percenters. Kind of like Black Sabbath, their national president went on one. Some kind of way, he decided that he would issue smash on side orders, or so it was alleged in his trial. And what happened? That National Sergeant at Arms backed that shit. And at the end of the day, National Sergeant at Arms is sitting in a courtroom testifying against the national president, talking about how the national president did this, that, and the other. But you were the National Sergeant at Arms. It was your job to stop that BS. It was your job to say, no, we're not going to put our brothers in a position where they'll be in prison, of which they now have 2 or 3 or 4 brothers. One, I believe, is in prison for life behind the BS of a corrupt sergeant at arms. And what I call corrupt is any sergeant at arms that would place his people in a position that they would be wound up in prison or whatever the case may be, where we stop doing what's right and we start doing what's wrong, where we make what's wrong a regular thing, when we make what's wrong normal, when we normalize tomfoolery, buffoonery, and bullshit, where we can see what we're doing is wrong. What legacy did he leave for the MC? What was his legacy? Something that made the Ugly Man Cossack sore, or something that destroyed much of everything they were trying to do, setting them back decades? That's what these people do, man. That's what they do. When they stop doing what's right, what's best for the club. In our history, Black Sabbath Nation, there was a club that separated from us. They called themselves New Breed Black Sabbath. And everyone wanted to go to war with these guys back in I think it was 97 or something. 98, 99, something like that. And everybody wanted to go get these guys. They're not taking our colors and changing the name, blah, blah, blah. The national president back then, Paul Pet Perry, said, hell no. I will never have, all of you guys are my children. And I will never have my people fighting one another over colors. I won't have them killing one another. I won't have them warring one another. Eventually, one day, hell, the clubs may come back together. It was that kind of leadership, that kind of understanding that kept us all from being places we didn't want to be, that kept us all out of prisons and cell blocks, kept us all out of spending all kinds of outrageous money, kept us all still as one motorcycle club that continued to last. And there was an offshoot of that motorcycle club, and they've been around for 20 years. And we never have to speak to them. They never have to speak to us. But one thing we're not doing is killing each other in the streets. Everybody still goes home. Everybody still has a life. Everybody's still happy. Everybody's still riding motorcycles. This is an example of leadership. And leadership, my friends, is hard to come about these days. What legacy do you want to leave as a sergeant at arms? You want to leave the legacy of someone who always had the betterment of the brothers of the club, the security of the club, the traditions of the club, the customs of the club, and the club social construct first and foremost in your mind. Everyone deserves a trial. Everyone deserves to be heard on the merits of the case put against them. Everyone deserves to have their day in court. Someone may say, I don't want to go to court. I'm not doing it. It is still your responsibility to set a court date. You understand? It's the responsibility of the sergeant at arms to be above reproach in every single solitary situation. It's hard to do. Being your best you is never going to be easy. Being the best example of the job you've been asked to do is never going to be easy, my friends. Being liked, that's always easy. All you got to do is kiss ass or do the wrong things to be liked. To be respected, it's much harder. To be respected, you must do the right things no matter what, no matter how hard they are, no matter how difficult they may seem. You must be always found doing the right damn things. And if you can do that, then you have mastered what it takes to be a sergeant at arms in a mighty motorcycle club nation. Hey, man, I don't know what to tell you. I'm telling you what I have found in my 36 years in this lifestyle. It's not easy to always be on the side of right or on the side of righteousness, but it is necessary if you want to leave a legacy of somebody who is worthy of what the club brothers voted you in to be or what the bylaws call for you to be. Most motorcycle clubs have a situation in their bylaws that allows you to have a trial, be faced by your accusers, and in many motorcycle clubs, you even have a right to appeal. If you ain't given that, then you ain't shit, and neither is your MC. Those of you that are in MCs like that need to gather some feet and vote with them. Capiche? Hey, man, thanks for tuning in with my walk. That's my 2 cents. I'd love to hear your 2 cents in the comment section below. Are you a sergeant at arms? What do you think about what I said? Is it important to be above reproach, or is it better to be a slimy dirtbag that's corrupt as hell? Hey, take care. Make sure to get my new book, Motorcycle Club Protocol 101, available at blackdragonsgear.com, where you can get your autographed versions, and soon to be on Amazon, Kindle, and Audible. Thanks for tuning in, and get skinny.